Hello world, Keon here. If you haven't played Portal yet or The Last of Us Part 2, you should probably dip because we're gonna go over some spoilers. When I was playing The Last of Us Part 2, I couldn't help but feel like the writers wanted me to have certain feelings about Abby. It reminded me big time of another video game icon, the Companion Cube. While I left Portal loving the Companion Cube and actually have a few collectibles of the Companion Cube, was not a fan of Abby in any way, shape, or form, nor how Naughty Dog handled her. Initially, Abby's introduced as this cold-blooded, revenge-driven robot that just wants to put an end to Joel's life and ends up succeeding in a very brutal way. But then, and I didn't notice going into the game, you're kind of forced to play as her for a good 10 hours at a really critical moment in the game's story, which doesn't help me like her one bit. Also doesn't help that the gameplay itself just seems to drag on, but that's another video. It never felt like the writers trusted me to form my own opinion and just kept trying to make her way too human. She has a fear of heights, which I can relate to. She has a complicated love triangle, just like Ellie. And her big-hearted, altruistic father was murdered by Joel when he was trying to put an end to Ellie's life without her permission. And make no mistake, Abby is a piece of shit, but the convenience of her growing as a person right before the showdown before Ellie was way too contrived. Honestly, I probably would have appreciated Abby more as a character if the developers weren't trying to make me like her every 5 seconds. It seems as though idealistic subtlety is a lost art form, and writers are really struggling with that right now. It's like they're trying to force baby food down our throat without even pretending it's an airplane. Unfortunately, they're kind of biting off more than they could chew, and the story felt like a game of Twister. For example, I'm pretty sure that the Scarabs only exist so that Abby has a faction to fight when we start playing as her, because it wouldn't make too much sense for her to start fighting the wolves right off the jump, especially in this story. Don't get me wrong, the writers clearly know how to write. They wanted to write a messy, ugly story, and messy it was. They were trying to portray the senselessness of the revenge cycle while showing that everyone is human. These two themes kinda clash with the gameplay, especially with a few cutscenes that you have no choice in the matter of. Which brings me to Companion Cube, another creature who we have to end, but we have no choice in the matter. Now obviously, players are meant to love Companion Cube, but it fits the tone of the game so much better. GLaDOS only understands humans at a surface level and understands that things that stick out tend to catch our attention more than things that don't. The little cutesy heart she added to it also doesn't hurt. We're clearly meant to grow attached to this prop, but it serves a purpose not only within the narrative, but also in the gameplay. If you're a super nerd like me and actually went back to listen to the commentary in Portal, you'll know that the playtesters were not enjoying the cube that much and kept leaving it behind, even though it was necessary for the rest of the puzzle. The devs robotically thought the solution would just be to add a heart, and lo and behold, it worked. Despite being in the game for just a few minutes, Companion Cube went on to become a video game icon overnight. This was a triumph. But I think the biggest success of Companion Cube, especially when compared to Abby, is that it doesn't take 10 fucking hours for the writers to get their point across. Naughty Dog, we get it. People are complicated. Everyone we kill might have a story and a family to tell. Murder shouldn't be taken so lightly, even in self-defense. I don't agree with those themes, but it seems like that's the story you guys wanted to tell, so I can't knock you for it. I think it's more about execution than anything else at this point. Initially, by the end of my time with Companion Cube, I felt like shit for tossing it aside. It was an inanimate object, but it actually got me through some obstacles and I wanted to keep it. But by the end of my trip with Abby, I just felt like shit. I commend Naughty Dog for taking a risk and trying to tell this kind of story using the medium of gaming, because I mean, where else are you going to get this kind of experience? But hopefully for now, we can understand why this approach just didn't work for me and others. Thank you for listening to this rant. Take care of yourself.